Hi everyone, I'm Deanne from Newfoundland, Canada. Welcome to my FlossTube channel, Stitching on the Rock. It's the 2nd of October and this is episode 22. We have a overcast kind of day here in St. John's, so we'll see how the lighting goes. I have cat hair all over me, sorry. I just had Kitty. I was trying to get her to come say hello, but she's stubborn. But she might come for a visit, or she might knock over my camera because her tail is kind of in between the legs of my tripod, so we'll see. Not much has been going on, unlike last video when it was mostly life and very little stitching. Life has been pretty day to day this past week. Aaron's been doing well in school. A couple of minor things, but nothing out of the ordinary. Had his first couple of quizzes. And he got a mark from 1, he got 82, so he's been doing well. And all his teachers on curriculum night said that he's very, very smart, which we knew. We've had a few tornadoes in the last couple of weeks. Fiona hit the west coast of Newfoundland very, very hard, and I know PEI in Nova Scotia, and I'm not sure about New Brunswick and Quebec, but I know several places had some very devastating damage. And then Ian this past week down in the States and Caribbean. We were lucky, we got a bit of rain from Fiona, but after the damage from Earl, we made out pretty good here on the east coast of Newfoundland. And that's pretty much all that's been going on, you know. Life. I've been fall cleaning. Not that you want to hear about that. Welcome to everyone who's watched that little bit of life and is sticking around to hear about the cross stitching. Thank you for my new subscribers. I've had a few in the last few days, and if you've tuned in and like what you see, think about subscribing. I'm getting close to 500 and I was going to do a giveaway then. I got a shout out from Mrs. Stitches, so if you're here from there, welcome. And if you haven't checked out her channel, I'll link her below so you can have a look. I told her she was on my long list of to watch later. As soon as Blue Jays win the World Series, I'm going to buckle down and watch YouTube. So what's been going on stitching wise? September Smalls is over with. I managed to get 3 fully finishes, and I have 2 works in progress, and I have 2 other fall works in progress that I didn't touch in September because they didn't fit my requirements of 100 by 100, but I'm going to show them all to you just as a recap, and they'll be put away probably until next fall. Maybe I might be in the mood to stitch something Halloween when we get closer to Halloween, but right now I'm saying they're being put away. So my 3 fully finishes are my pillows, and I have a needle, sorry, but getting out of the screen, I gotta pick it up. I have a needle stuck in one because I saw the needle on the table and I didn't want it to end up on the floor and end up with someone's foot. Oops, sorry. So remember I said last video I was looking for somewhere to display my little pillows, and I remembered I had this little like treasure chest that we got from the real estate agent when we moved into the house. He had a little welcoming gift in it, so I thought that this was a great idea to put them in here. So the first one I finished, for those of you who haven't seen the earlier videos, was The Witch Is Me by Amy Brooken Designs. I left the bow a little long. I don't know if I'll trim that off later or not. So this one was done on summer khaki 28 count, and the only color that I used from the pattern was the face color. The rest of them were all my kind of substitutes. And then I did the Witch by Witchy Stitcher, and it had the word witch stitched across the top, but I just wanted the cauldron. And the last one was Happy Harvest by Darlene Dion Designs, and I know I showed you this pattern when I bought it, and it's stitched on 28 count blue glass Monaco, and there was a little half line like this down here, but I left that off, And then I put a little bit of Kreinik in for the heart instead of just the regular DMC to give it a bit of sparkle. And then on the back I just used, it's orange and it's got a little swirl design through it, and then I put a little trim around the edges because my sewing is still not very good. I need to watch videos on how to hand sew, but anyway, I thought it was a cute little design, and so that was pretty good for me to get 3 fully finished items for the month. And then my other whips, the 2 from September and one of the others, all came from this just cross stitch Halloween collection from 2011. Turned out to be a good buy back in 2011. The first one is, I started this in August, and it didn't fit into my 100 by 100, so I put it away, and now it's going for whenever. This is Spirited Mandala, whichever way you want to pronounce it, by Ink Circles. And I am stitching it on a 28 count hand dyed opalescent from Silk Weavers, but I don't know the name of the fabric. And you can see the sparkle, but it's very sparkly, but I don't know how it's going to come up on camera. And this is what I have done, which is one side, or almost the full side. And I'm stitching it using Belle Island Ore from Brin and Needle. And it does have, it's charcoal gray, but it does have a little bit of purple in it. I'm not sure if it's coming up well on camera. Let's see if I can get a piece of weight, and I don't even know if that will help today. But there it is. And I'm sorry if the camera is shaking a bit. This is a very old table that I have, and it's very wobbly, and Miss Kitty is deciding to wander around on it, so you may get a little shaking like an earthquake, but it's just a 4-legged earthquake. So next up from this book is Happy Halloween by the Sunflower Seed. Now I am doing the DMC conversion for this, but the colors do not match this at all. The larger sections of the pumpkin was 921, which was, it's a really dark orangey, like burnt orange. Then when I pulled out 900, which was the lines, it was like a neon orange, so it did not work together. But I kept the 921, and then I went through my stash trying to find a color to work with it, and none of the DMC colors were really dark enough to make the lines stand out. So I went through my stash and I found Kreinik, and it is 027L. It's in number 8, so it's a thicker Kreinik, and it comes out a bit browny looking, but I think it works with the DMC color. But I'm doing it now, whether it works or not, because I'm about a third of the way through. And it's done. Oh, sorry. It's stitched on a 28 count piece of Monaco that I coffee tea dyed using Orange Pico. So it came out as an orangey brown. And the third piece I'm doing from this book is Smell My Feet from La Di Da. Let me just see if I can find it here. And now this is now a freebie from La Di Da, and if you go on their website you can find it, but I'm going to cover up the pattern anyway, just because it wasn't a freebie when it was in this book. So I'm sure you all recognize that design. And I'm doing that on 28 count Summer Khaki, which is the same one I did the Witch's Me on. And I really like this color. I'm going to be ordering more of this fabric. And this is what I have done. I have one leg done. And I'm using for the stocking Gentle Arts Spring Grass, which I thought was a really nice neon-y green that works with the black really well. And finally, my last fall / Halloween whip that I'm working on is Jumping Jacks by Samsara Designs. And once again, this did not fall into my September small. So I haven't worked on this since August. I have 3 of the pumpkins done, and I cannot remember. I'm using all the called for colors except for the pumpkin color, which was hazelnut. And my hazelnut was really brown, and I didn't think it looked like a pumpkin color at all. So I got DMC, and I have it written down on my little index card for this pattern, what colors I used, and I cannot remember now. I think it was like 918 and 920 or 921, but I was doing like she suggested in the book to get the variegation, was doing vertical lines. So I was doing a vertical line of the darker color and a vertical line of the lighter color, and it was, I don't know if you can tell, I think it was giving it looking like variegation. And this is a piece of 28 count Monaco that I coffee tea dyed. I didn't use the orange picot, but when it dried out, it looked exactly like the color of the piece that uses the orange picot. So I dyed it with aqua rip dye or aquamarine, whatever the color is, to give it a different color of the other piece. And I don't know which I want, like coffee tea dye that's brown, and I don't know why I'm not getting brown. I don't know if I used Tetley tea, which is the tea that we have here in Newfoundland, and just a bottle of coffee that came from the dollar store, and I don't know what tea to use so that it doesn't come out orange. Or maybe I should just coffee dye it and not coffee tea dye it. Maybe that's the solution. But if you have a suggestion for me, please let me know. And that's all of my fall / Halloween whips and finishes. So what else have I been doing? Because I kind of got, oh, sorry, didn't mean to get out of the screen there. I'm not having a whole lot of luck with videotaping today. This is my 3rd attempt. And every time I keep holding the stuff up, but it's not up high enough. So if there's something you can't see, let me know down below and I will re-show it next video. It's just not my day. Anyway, I kind of got tired of all the orange and all the black. And so I picked up another whip, but I have a second whip that I've been doing in the car while I wait for Aaron. I get about 2 threads in a day. And I have my Christmas. Well, let's do the Christmas, because this was supposed to be done on the 24th and 25th. But I was finishing up Happy Harvest on the 25th, 4th and 5th. And so this didn't get done until the 26th. And I didn't get a whole lot done. This is Ornamental Joy by Country Cottage Needleworks. And I could finish this in like 3 or 4 hours, but I don't have another Christmas whip, like a larger one that I want to do, or I haven't sat down to figure out one. So I've kind of been slowly doing this and figuring if it's done and fully finished for when I put up my Christmas decorations, that's a win. So here we are. So this month this month I finished the Y, and I did the bow above the Y and the bow above the O. And this is, I'm using all the called for colors, and I'm stitching on 28 count even weave. I think it was a Lugana. I can't remember. It came from as a little piece from Embroidery Marketplace, I want to say, in Alberta, and it was antique white, or ivory or something like that, and I wanted it darker, so I stuck it in some tan red dye and gave it more of an old world kind of feel, kind of like the picture. And I love stitching. I love Country Cottage Needlework designs. They're so sweet and easy to stitch, and I'm sure it will. There's no problem with it being done for Christmas. And my Carrara piece that I'm doing is Tulip House by Pinkering Pumpkin Quilts, one of her freebies. Oh, it doesn't have, I don't have a picture, it just have a pattern. But it's a freebie on her site. Anybody can go and get it, so I assume it's okay to show it. It's not a very big piece, but I've been, once again, doing it very slowly. I am leaving off this quilt star, and I'm leaving off this little heart. But other than that, I'm stitching it exactly as it is. You probably won't notice a difference from the last video if you watch that, because I stitched all in white. So there's not, it looks pretty much the same. Sorry about my yellow thread there. Let me hold that, because I had to frog a little bit of yellow thread right here, because there's a little line that goes down there. So I just have to put that in. But if I hold it up close, hopefully you will be able to see that all the white is done in all the windows and the door. So once I fill in the brown, you'll see it, no problem. And I should get the yellow and at least started on the brown in the windows this week. Aaron was off on Friday. Did I mention that already? Because this is my third attempt at the videos. I can't remember what I said and what I didn't say. He was off on Friday for the Day of Reconciliation holiday, and he's off tomorrow for Professional Development Day for the teachers. So I have a 4-day, he has a 4-day week this week, and he has a 4-day week next week, because it's Thanksgiving weekend. Thanksgiving. Like, where has, like, that's the middle of October. Oh my Lord. That means only like 3 months to Christmas, and I have no idea what to buy my child for Christmas. What do you have to buy a child that doesn't play with toys, has all the electronic stuff that he needs? He has 3 game systems here, and he doesn't play with any of them. He plays Roblox and Steam, and so he wants money for nothing, as far as I'm concerned, because it's all online. Like, there's no physical, tangible gift. It's all giving them money, and they let you have add-ons to your online games. Oh, sorry, itchy nose. Anyway, the last WIP I worked on was at the end of the month. Like I said, when I was tired of the orange and the black, I picked up Quick Stitch Pride and Prejudice by Amy Stewart for Heaven and Earth Designs. And I started in this corner, and I'm going diagonally. So I have reached this brownish orange book. This I put in, I think it was like 835 stitches. I forgot to write it down before I came down, but it was something like that. So here is where I am with this. You can see all the stitches that I haven't filled in. They're all the 2s and 3s and 1s, and so when I get down to the bottom of the diagonal, which will be the actual diagonal across the whole design, I'll go back and fill that in before I move on to the next one. And that is my stitching, WIPs, finishes, and such. Just checking my notes here to make sure that I haven't forgotten anything. Boy, this is going to be a short video because the other 2 are a lot longer because I rambled. I'll try not to do that, except for this one part, which is plans. And I'm sorry, I have an itchy nose. So October was going to be Ornamental October, and it still is, but there won't be ornaments for me. I don't want to make this a long, drawn-out ramble, but I guess I got to explain why I'm doing it. Well, I don't have to. Anyway, the ornaments are going to be for Aaron's teachers. Every year we give those teachers that are important to Aaron or assistants gifts for Christmas and gifts at the end of the year. And I'm not one to go out and buy a plaster ornament that says #1 teacher on it. It's just not my style. I like to give gifts that are useful, or, you know, things that will mean something. Oh, sorry, Kitty has found a toy, or found something to play with. So in elementary school, I was, for a couple of years, I was selling 31, so I gave the teachers and the assistants lunch bags because I knew it was useful, that they'd have something that they would use every day, and that you know, would last a long time because they're good quality products. And so that's what I did. Then for a couple of years, I got out my stamps and my scrapbooking stuff, and I made Christmas tags, like a dozen Christmas tags at Christmas time. And then at the end of the year, I made 10 or 12 cards, like thank you and birthday and things that I knew that they would use. The last 2 years in junior high, I don't even remember if I gave anything at Christmas because his assistant would change. He had an IRT teacher that was a male, so I gave him Tim's card. And then, well, you saw the gift I gave him at the end of last year, and I won't get into that story because I get emotional talking about it. Yeah, so, and then the bus driver gets a Tim's card, you know. So this year, seems like school is like much better at keeping things consistent all throughout elementary and junior high. Assistants would change, and well, the IRTs were the same for the year, but you know, some years he'd have the same assistant for the whole year. Some years he'd have 3 or 4 that would alternate, and it would be too confusing to figure out who was the assistant. This year he seems to have 2, one in the mornings, one in the afternoon. It's been the same. Well, we've only been there for 3 weeks or so, but it seems like that's the way it's going to be. He has an IRT that we communicate with, and she seems to be his primary IRT, and then he's doing a program there at school with an IRT. So that was 4, and I thought, well, 4 ornaments? No problem. I can do it. I just got to figure out which ones. And then I mentioned it to Aaron, and I said, what do you think? I would give Miss a Christmas cross-stitch some Christmas. Oh, yes, he said. Oh, but also Miss such and such and Miss such and such. And I'm like, okay, that's 6. Is there anyone else there? Oh, Miss, and she was his IRT 1 year in elementary school, and I absolutely love her. She's the sweetest thing in the world. And I said, we can't leave her out. So that leaves me with 7 ornaments. Oh my goodness. Maybe I took on a bit too much. But then I thought the Happy Harvest one that I did, it only took me 3 or 4 days. And like, I wouldn't make a Christmas ornament any bigger than that. You know, like that's still a little on the large side for a Christmas ornament, but I have them on my tree that big, and I have them on my tree that big, you know, like, so I said, well, not too bad. But now I have to find ornaments, and something that I like enough that I want to stitch them for myself the second time. And my mom is like, oh, but just buy like 4, and then you can double up on, 3 of them, or, and I'm like, yeah, I could do that. I'm not going to. I can't imagine doing 2 of the same thing right in a row. It's just not me. So, and plus, you know, I want to have 7 for myself next year. So I searched around eBay, Etsy, Etsy, and I came up with these Santas from My Fanny. And I don't know, it's Italian, so maybe Fanny doesn't mean the same thing there that it does here, but not an appropriate word for shop here. And that's all I'll say about that. And there's 12. So I could do an ornament every month next year. And I'd have 7 of them bought already. So that's what my plan. It calls for 36 count, which I know would make them smaller. I don't have any 36 count. In order to get 36 count, I'd have to order it, and it would take a couple of weeks to get here. So that's a couple of weeks off of stitching time. So I went to Michael's and bought a roll of 28 count linen, and they're going to be a little bit bigger. Like I said, they're going to be the size of my pillows, but that's okay. Some people have bigger ornaments, and if they don't want to put it on their tree, they can just put it on a shelf or something. And I dyed the linen with pearl gray because her patterns, and I'll show you the first one I bought, hers are all done on a pale gray fabric, and I really like them. So this is the first one, and I'll link her shop below if you haven't found, and her stuff is lovely. I have lots of stuff in my favorite list on Etsy. And this is where I have gotten the first one, which is I stitched on it yesterday. So it's the little snowman on the side, minus his details, of course, and I've done Santa's light. And so, yeah, I'm sure if I can do one a week, I'll have them done by the end of November, and then finish them on the first week of December, and there should be no problem getting 7 done before school ends. And when I get bored with the white of snowman and snow and Santa's beards and snowflakes and all that, I'm going to continue stitching on the Pride and Prejudice till I get it up to 5% done, and then I'll move on to another one of my Hades because I didn't stitch on them at all in September and I really missed them. So that's the plans right now. Anything can happen, they could change. We'll see. But thanks for tuning in today. I'll see you again in a couple of weeks, and anyone who's just watching for the first time, oh, Kitty's coming to say hi. Are you gonna come? No, she's gonna stay behind the camera. Come on. Oh, she rubbed up against the ring. Come on. Come on. No. She says, I'm not ready for my debut. Hang on. Another minute and I'll try and get her. Come on. No, she'd rather rub her head against the ring and knock. Kitty. Oh. Look, there she is. Oh, I forgot to mention, like I said, done 3 of these videos, that I won a prize on the Stitching with Friends Facebook group. Of course, now she's going to be in my way. Come here. They had Spooktacular September, and it wasn't a stitching prize, but it was one Spooktacular Stitcher, which is really cute. It's done with the sublimation kind of stuff, like my Doctor Who one that I showed a few videos ago that my son's aunt did for me. Yeah, and it came from California in less than a month, which really impressed me. Okay, we're gonna go now. See you later.